A Napa guy knows the only way you'd give a freshly minted driver a brand new car is if he promises to never drive it. Instead, let him grind the gears and knock over the neighbor's mailbox in something a little more suited to his skill level. And with over 400,000 parts and a little Napa know-how, he can safely drive something that's nearly as old as he is. It's not perfect, but it's perfect for him. That's Napa know-how.
Blog Talk Radio.
Well, good evening, folks. And thank you for tuning in with me once again here on True Conservative Radio. And, of course, I'm your host, the man they call Ghost, and I wanted to extend a thank you once again for tuning in with me. I know, folks, that I said that I was no longer going to do weekend shows, but we had such a great response last evening to the Anti-International Women's Day episode of True Conservative Radio that I just had to come up here this Sunday evening and pull off a show, because I think that there's subject matters that need to be talked about that no one is discussing. And I'm not afraid to do it. I'm not afraid of the recourse. I'm not afraid of what people say, and that's all there is to it. And, you know, everybody that's out there chastising me, spreading slanderous lies about me, personal attacks at me, they're talking with absolutely no substance. And you know something, folks? Every time I come up on here and do a broadcast, I'm always providing substance on the debating table. I'm not just some Nimrod pulling something out of his ass and trying to justify it that, hey, here you go. You're going to have to eat it and like it. That's not me, folks. As a matter of fact, I encourage you to disagree with me. I mean, that's what America is about. America is about debating and trying to come to some sort of common ground, some sort of compromise. All right? I mean, providing discourse on subject matters that are going to relate to American people. And once again, folks, we are going to get into that this evening. I decided to go ahead and throw a spontaneous show on this Sunday evening because I think that there are subject matters that are near and dear to my heart, and it should be near and dear to every American's heart out there, that we need to discuss. Now, I'm sure everybody right now that's barely tuning in with me, and I'd like to thank you once again for tuning in, they probably were a little awestruck or struck back by the title of this program. The title of the program this evening, folks, is The American Public Sucks. And why, are you asking, why am I saying that the public sucks? Well, just take a look around you, for Christ's sake. All right? Take a look at what's happening to our country. That's why I'm saying the American public sucks. I'm hoping that I piss a few American people off out here to encourage them to find the motivation and the energy to participate in this civil society out here. I mean, you got way too many people that are just sitting on their fat jelly asses, okay, and just shoveling food down their gullets, watching the boob tube, you know, feeding their minds absolutely nothing of any kind of substance. All everybody's doing is walking around half dead. And that's what continues to motivate me to come up on here and to continue to tout everything I do on this program, folks. I mean, that's why I come up on here on a consistent basis, because I love America, okay? I love the American Constitution. I don't know about the average American anymore. It seems to me that they could give a rat's ass about anything just as long as they're feeding their fat cottage cheese ass. That's all they care about out here. And I'm bringing it up. I'm hoping that everybody that's listening in out there, if you're taking offense to this, I'm sorry. If you happen to be somebody with a little bit of common sense, with cognitive reasoning, who interprets things in a critical manner, I'm sorry, I'm not talking to you. I'm talking to the folks out there that have absolutely no substance to themselves. These are the type of ignorant bastards that have viewpoints on subject matters they don't know a damn thing about. And that's who I'm talking about. That's the American public that sucks, folks. And we have a lot of them out there. We have a lot of Nimrods out there that are completely ignorant of anything that's going on around them. And you know when you could come across an ignorant bastard, okay? I mean, you come across them, you hear them in a social setting, some sort of social environment, you hear them. They have opinions about subjects they know diddly about. And doesn't it piss you off, folks? Because I don't know about you, but me, whenever I see an ignorant bastard trying to talk, trying to discuss subject matters that they don't know a damn thing about, it makes me want to stomp their teeth so far down their damn throat that they'll be able to chew their own ass for the rest of their life. That's what it makes me feel like. All right? It makes me sick, man. It makes me absolutely sick. And Roscoe Phil, the Poor People's Campaign Mail Geek, I appreciate you for tuning in with me early in the program. They're in the chat room, folks. And if you want to get to the chat room, blogtalkradio.com/ghost. I mean, Roscoe Phil was telling me that there's some nutcase, bleeding heart, bedwetting, tree-hugging liberal that was on the Blog Talk Radio Network talking up for wazoo, and she didn't know her ass from her damn elbow. That's what I'm talking about, folks. Those are the people I'm talking about, these ignorant bastards that have opinions about crap they don't know nothing about. It's stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous. And you see, it pisses me off, folks. I mean, that's why you hear a bunch of anger. You know, you hear the fury coming out of me out here because it pisses me off. I hate ignorant bastards. I hate them. You should hate them too, unless you're an ignorant bastard yourself. All right? I mean, unless you're ignorant, if you're ignorant, stop yourself from being ignorant. And how do you do that? Well, get yourself some damn common sense. Okay? And once you get yourself some damn common sense, why don't you pick up something and read something? You know, have you ever tried to get somebody to read anything? Have you ever tried to attempt to tell somebody to go out and do some research about something? I mean, it's like you just asked them to get a prostate exam with a damn fire hydrant. I mean, it's stupid. It's absolutely stupid. It's like pulling teeth from these retarded jagoffs. It's dumb, man. I mean, it makes me sick. That's why I come up on here. I'm hoping that I either piss people off enough where they get the testicular or intestinal fortitude to go out and better themselves, or I inspire some people to go out and beat the living bejesus out of every ignorant bastard on the street. Now, I'm not advocating violence, okay? I'm sorry. It just gets me a little angry out here, all right? I mean, it just gets me a little angry because I hate ignorant bastards. I hate them. And you know what, folks? The American public, that's what it is. Ignorant pieces of trash. And I know there's people out there listening in saying, oh, Ghost, well, if you don't like America, well, then go ahead and get out. I love America, you piece of crap. It's you ignorant bastards that keep shoveling food down your gullet that are out here, you know, making these fast food joints. I mean, I was at a fast food joint the other day, and there's literally a burger out here with 4 meat patties in the damn thing. 4 meat patties. Are you kidding me? I mean, I could just imagine the fat jelly-ass bastard that wolfs that down their gullet. And you see, this is what I'm talking about out here. Now, look, if you want to be a fat bastard, hey, that is your right, folks. This is America, and that's hey, by all means, go ahead and do so. But if you're going to be an ignorant, fat, jelly-ass piece of crap, then you don't deserve any kind of credit from anybody. On the contrary, you deserve nothing but a bunch of ridicule. That's what you deserve. Anyway, folks, I'd like for you to participate. 646-652-4869. You know? I mean, go ahead and give me a call right now. We are talking about the American public and how it sucks. And that's the main agenda on this show. Last evening, I got a whole bunch of emails, folks. I had an anti-International Women's Day, and let me tell you, you should have seen my email address. It was bombarded with all kinds of feminists and bedwetting liberals and long-haired liberal hippies out here just flapping their fat Cheeto-stained fingers on their keyboard, sending me a bunch of threatening, logical fallacy emails. And it's sickening to me. And you see, this is what I'm talking about. All I was doing yesterday was trying to provide some discourse on the subject matter of feminism. And everything I've told you, folks, about feminism, and I am open about me being an anti-feminist. I am an anti-feminist. I don't care if anybody doesn't like it, I don't give a damn. I mean, feminism has ruined our society, folks, and if you don't believe me, go take a good whiff of it by walking around out here and look at all these half-dead Nimrods that are walking around not knowing their asses from their damn elbows, folks. I mean, look at the amount of, just look at the pussification, all right? Look at the absolute pussification of America. And you take a look at it from the social landscape perspective, you take a look at it from the government's perspective, take a look at it from the liberal media's perspective, for Christ's sake. And you'll take a good whiff of what I'm talking about out here. And I challenge all of those folks out here that don't believe me, that think I'm just off my rocker. I challenged you, and I continue to challenge you, to go out to your nearest alcoholic beverage establishment and count how many philanderous whorebags are at that establishment with absolutely no money, and take a look at the end of the night how many of them end up being plastered. Why don't you take a look at that, and then you'll get a whiff of what I'm talking about out here. This is the culmination of the feminist movement, folks, and it needs to be stopped. It needs to be stopped, and that's all there is to it. And if nobody likes it, if there's females out there that don't like it, that's because you've been so anesthetized with the feminist propaganda that you think that your crap doesn't stink. Well, it does. Take a good whiff of it, for Christ's sake. And I'm not gonna let it die. I'm just not gonna let this die. Believe it or not, folks, the feminist movement is a very dangerous ideology, folks. I don't give two damns who says it isn't. It has nothing to do with equality. It has nothing to do with women's rights. It is a clandestine operation for complete and utter domination. I mean, just take a look at the justice system, folks. Gender-biased justice system. You can have some ignorant broad go in, drown 5 of her children, all right? You can have a woman drown 5 of her children. That's, you know, it's one thing to shoot somebody because you don't get to look at them in the face when you do it, all right? It's one thing to shoot somebody. This woman took her children that came out of her, all right? That she bore herself and drowned her children. And what happened? Oh, because of the feminist movement and the gender-biased justice system. Oh, let's just send her to a damn nut home, and now she's out in the street probably going to shit out another 5 kids. This is what I'm talking about, folks. No one talks about these subject matters except for me, and I could care less about the ridicule that comes along with it. I don't care, folks, because I love America, and I want to see the social landscape heal itself. It needs to heal itself. We need enough Americans start to think like this so we can understand the root problem of our society. There is a lack of social ethos out here, moral ethos. Not based on any religious principles, it's just based on common sense, damn it. Just look at the historical documentation about human beings out here, and you'll understand that the organizing principle of humanity is family, stupid morons. Jeez, I just don't know. Yeah, and I've been told here in the chat room that there is a show titled tonight, We Endorse Honest John McCain. Yeah, right. Are you kidding me? John Turncoat McCain. And, you know, that just goes to show you, folks, and you can look back in the archive. I've been saying this the whole damn time. You're just going to get liberalism no matter what when it comes to this presidential election, folks. It's an absolute, utter joke. All right? It's an absolute, utter joke. It's stupid. It's absolutely ridiculous, folks. And that's why I'm not even going to give them any more airtime. John Turncoat McCain, everybody knows he's a liberal, and if you don't want to admit he's a liberal, if you want to turn your back on true conservative principles, which was the root foundation of the Republican Party, if you want to turn your back on old-school Republican principles, like less government bureaucracy, less government in our faces, less taxes, well, then you go ahead and be a blind sheep and follow the party that's basically turning itself into a liberal faction. You go ahead and do that, folks. You go ahead and do that because I'm not going to do it. I'm not voting for any of these people. And if you're a true conservative, if you're a real Republican, you shouldn't vote for these people either. You should write in something. You should write in Mickey Mouse or some crap because that's exactly what kind of election we're having. Some Mickey Mouse election. That's exactly what we're having in America today. It's ridiculous. It's absolutely disgusting to me, and of course nobody is talking about these subject matters. I mean, you just look around. I mean, just look at the Blog Talk Radio Network in general, and you'll see where I'm coming from, folks. This is just, it's just become a filthy society That's why this show is titled The American Public Sucks. Because they do, folks. The American public sucks. And you see, they're so stupid, and they're so ignorant, they're shoveling food down their gullet like a damn garbage disposal. They're sitting there watching the boob tube. They have no idea what is happening to our great country out here because they're stupid. The average American person out here is an absolute buffoonery. And I hope I piss a few people off out there. I hope I get some people upset and say, you know what, Ghost, I'm not a buffoonery, all right? I'm an intelligent person. All right, I'm an intelligent person. Well, show me you're an intelligent person. Go out and participate in this democracy while we still have it. Go do it right now. Anyway, folks, I'm sorry. I know that I get a little hostile on this program, and I'm sorry, but 646-652-4869. I love America, folks. I just want America back, man. That's all I want. I want the America back when you could be bored into nothing and make yourself something with hard work, determination, and motivation, and will. How are you gonna make something out of yourself in this crippling economy that nobody's talking about? I'd like for somebody to talk to me about that. All right? I just don't understand why nobody can see the economic danger that is going to happen here within the next 6 to 7 months. And, I've been prognosticating here on the Blog Talk Radio for a little bit here, and I just find it real funny that things that I have said that were going to come to pass are now coming to pass. And you see, I got a lot of people emailing me, asking me, well, how'd you know this was going to happen, Ghost? How'd you know that things were going to go the way they were? It doesn't take a damn genius, folks. It's just mere political observation, know-how, and learning from history. I'm of the persuasion that we have a secular timeline. We have a secular history. The more things change, the more they stay the same. And you see, what's happening right now is we're not learning from history, folks. We're just letting our American Constitution, America in general, being flushed down the toilet. All right? It's ridiculous. And let me tell you something. Somebody's talking about we should prank call John McCain. Let me tell you something. If somebody has John McCain's phone number, I'll be more than happy to give him a call and give him a little piece of my mind, for Christ's sake. Hillary Clinton, Barack Obama, all those people, because they are not talking about subject matters that are going to affect America. And that's what I care about, folks, is America. I don't care about imbalanced trade deals with communist China. I hate China. I hope they choke on their damn chopsticks. I hate China. Here we are signing imbalanced trade deals with a communist country. And I don't know if you folks remember, because, most of the American public are a bunch of idiots. But we were at war with communism at one time. All right? We were at war with this ideology, and now we're sitting here doing business with them. And you see, what are they doing? What are the Chinese folks doing right now? The Chinese government. I'm not talking about the Chinese people. I actually feel sorry for the Chinese people. These people are oppressed. They're subjugated, but they need to wake up. Those Chinese people need to wake up. There's 1 billion of them strong, and they need to take back their damn government and flush the last remnants of that ridiculous piece of garbage, Mao Zedong's ideology, and flush it down the toilet. How are these power-hungry autocrats in Washington going to sign imbalanced trade deals that are going to send the means of production outside of the United States into a communist nation that is a threat to our national security? I think China is a greater threat than anything else out here in the international community. I mean that. I genuinely mean that. Just take a look at all the money they're making from our manufacturing or from us buying their manufactured goods. And take a look at how many of those nuclear warheads that they're buying are being aimed right here at us, folks. And we don't have a missile defense system. We don't have anything to stop all these nukes. We may have the capability to stop a few of them, have the capability to stop them all, and they keep buying them, folks. Not only that, they are purposely socially engineering their society, okay? They are purposely aborting or killing female babies, okay? And they are populating their population with 4 or 5 men to every 1 woman, all right? And do you think that's a recipe for success, folks? Absolutely not. They're getting ready for war. That's what they're doing. They're getting ready for war. And you see, here we are with our heads shoved so far up our colon holes, and we don't see any of this crap coming. And not only that, I mean, they're poisoning us out here. I mean, haven't you noticed that, you know, it's become socially acceptable at this point to have a defective product from China? And I'm not talking about a defective product in the sense of it breaking, because we all know it's cheap crap. I'm talking about finding the date rape drug in children's toys, for Christ's sake. I'm talking about lead-based crap. I'm talking about poisoned dog food. I mean, everything that has come out of that piece of crap country. And it's ridiculous, folks. And let me tell you, these Chinese people need to wake up. I'm talking about the general Chinese public. And I think the American public needs to wake up, too, and understand that we cannot continue doing business with these pieces of crap. And at the same time, all right, at the same time, here you have a government that is embracing this piece of crap communist mumbo-jumbo. That's what you have out here. And I don't want to embrace communism, folks. We had wars against communism. But you notice, folks, and this is what I've been saying the whole damn time, all right? All right, let me tell you. I've been saying that we are witnessing a single-handed transition from what we know of as America, what we used to know of as the American Constitutional Republic. We are now transitioning into some sort of socialist, quasi-communist style government. Haven't you noticed the expansion of government out here right underneath your noses? You notice none of these dumb Nimrods out here are understanding the expansion of government. On the contrary, all you have out here is people asking for more handouts. And why are they asking for more handouts, you ask? Well, I'll tell you why they're asking for handouts. Because we've developed a social landscape that embraces that crap. You know, I'm getting a little hostile here. I'm going to go ahead and drink a beer. It's the only thing, I mean, it's the only depressant I can think of that doesn't have a damn side effect. Can't even get yourself a damn medication anymore without anal leakage or, you know, your balls falling off or something like that. I think that's a bunch of ridiculous garbage, too. Good stuff, folks. Really good stuff. Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. And you know, folks, like I said, the reason I come up on here on a consistent basis is because I want discourse, man. I want people to start talking about subject matters that are going to affect us as American people. I love America, man. I want America to continue on. I want what our forefathers gave us. They gave us unalienable rights, never given to man prior to the signing of the Constitution. And now, because we are so damn ignorant and stupid, and we're so appeased by just shoveling food down our gullets, watching the boob tube, and not worrying about subject matters that are going to affect us, you got people out here more worried about what animal is going to be on Paris Hilton's crotch. And that's what you got out here, folks. That's what it is. And I hate it, man. I hate it. And the only way we're going to rectify it, folks, is if we nip it in the bud and we say it how it is. The American public. The American public sucks. It just sucks, folks. I'm sorry. You know, maybe you just don't like hearing it. Maybe you're sitting over there choking on your ham sandwich while you're eating. It doesn't matter. I want you to understand that if we continue going down the path we're going, we're not going to have America anymore, folks. I mean, just take a look, okay? And I want you to do your own research out there, folks. I'm not just talking out of my ass here. I've never, ever been a conspiracy theorist or anything of that nature. I've been a lifelong Republican. I've been a staunch conservative. But if you take a look at all the damn trade deals that we have that with third world nations, You take a look at everything that we're doing here with this NAFTA superhighway that's being built right here in my home state of Texas. You take a look at all the factors going on, the economy, the devaluing of the American dollar. You just take a look at the fact that we don't produce anything as a civilization out here except for cheeseburgers and entertainment. Let me tell you something, folks. We're headed down a path to something similar to the European Union. And I challenge you to go out and research the European Union and figure out how in the hell that erected itself. And you're going to take a look and see that when the European Union was at its infancy, or wasn't even concepted, it was just kind of a shadow. It was an illusion. The European Union started off by a bunch of trade deals, folks. That's what it is. That's what I would start it off, and that's exactly what's happening here in America, folks. We're signing imbalanced trade deals. We're doing all kinds of garbage business with Mexico and Canada. We're signing prosperity acts, or whatever the hell it's called, to basically unify Canada, the United States, and Mexico, folks. And you know, this was a think tank concept, folks. This wasn't something in legislature, but now, because the American public is so damn stupid, it's starting to come to pass that we may just merge with Canada and Mexico. North American Union. That's right. Take a look. Take a look at the agenda of the North American Union, how they want to unify us under a single currency. Won't you read a little bit about the Amero? They talked about that damn thing on CNBC. CNBC said it. You can look it up. But I don't know about you folks, but I'm not going to sit back and do this. I'm an American. I love the American Constitution, and I refuse to merge myself with those people from Canada or people from Mexico, all right? We are a sovereign nation, and we need to start waking up and take our damn thumbs out of our asses and understand that we're having imbalanced trade deals being signed by these power-hungry autocrats in Washington. We have a presidential field out here that aren't talking about anything that affects America. You notice that, right? All these people that are running for president aren't saying diddly about America and about the American economy, folks. Let me tell you something. I know that, look, and I'm a business owner, folks, okay? I'm a business owner. But let me tell you something. I am very, very pessimistic about our economy. I mean, just take a look at the facts around you, okay? Take a look at the fact that we don't produce a damn thing except for cheeseburgers and entertainment, okay? Then you take into consideration that we have 20 million illegal immigrants that are in this country right now, devaluing the cost of the labor that's still in this country. They're working for 25 cents on the dollar, and you expect these disenfranchised people that have lost their jobs because of outsourcing and the means of production leaving America into communist countries like China, they have to compete with 20 million illegals that'll work for 25 cents on the dollar. You take a look at our devaluing dollar, folks. Our dollar, our American dollar, is becoming so devalued, it's not even, at some point here within the next 5 or 6 months, it's not even going to be worth the paper it's printed on, folks. And I'm not just saying that and pulling that out of my derriere. I am saying the truth. This is very critical that none of these politicians are talking about. You want to know why they're not talking about it? Because they won't be voted for if they talk about it. They want this image of being the savior of society. Let me tell you something, folks. It is going to be grim here in the future. Okay? So prepare yourself. Okay? If you're out here buying $4,000 plasma screen TVs and you know you can't afford the damn thing, don't do it. You better buy something liquid. To tell you the truth, folks, I really don't know what to do. All we can do is bitch at our politicians. That's all we can do. And that's where I urge all the folks that listen to my program on a consistent basis, find out who your congressman is. Find out who your senator is. And call those pieces of trash and ask them what their opinion is on our devaluing dollar and what they plan to do about it. And if they ignore you, go to your press and tell them, hey, my politician ignored me. And they'll cover it, folks. We need to start taking a stand for America before we start losing the damn thing. I mean, do you love America, folks? I mean, take your blinders off for a second. Stop shoveling food down your gullet. Put the freaking fork down for about 5 minutes. and ask yourself a question. Do you love America? Do you love America, damn it? Answer. If you do, well then participate in the government that was given to you by our forefathers. Participate in the damn thing. That's the only way we're going to make a change out here, folks, is if we start bitching at these politicians, and you know what they're doing? They're doing the bidding on whoever donates to their campaign. This is still a free society, folks, okay? I mean, you know, I don't understand why people can't interpret that in their thick skulls. This is still a free society. But we have to come together. We have to have discourse. We have to have debate on subject matters that pertain to America. Because if enough people start hooping and hollering, the government will crack. Just take a look at the civil rights movement, folks. That is empirical evidence that shows that if enough people in the general American populace start standing up for a cause, start standing up for an issue, that the government will bow down to the people. I mean, just take a look at who signed the Civil Rights Act. Lyndon Baines Johnson. Lyndon Baines Johnson was a historical, racist piece of trash. Okay? It's documented. You can look it up for yourself. He was a racist bastard, and anybody who tries to dispute that is probably just as racist as he was. But the bottom line is, folks, is that this is still a free society, and the empirical evidence of the Civil Rights Act goes to show you that if the American people come together on a common cause, issue, anything of that nature, that the government will crack under the pressure. And the Civil Rights Act goes to show that. Like I said, the person that the person that signed the Civil Rights Act, he sure as hell didn't write the thing. The person who signed it, Lyndon Baines Johnson, was a historical racist. But why did he sign the Civil Rights Act? Because enough people in the general American populace wanted it. And that's what I'm suggesting to you folks. Don't get caught up with this ridiculous presidential race out here. I've been through with it. Okay? I mean, I've been through with it since the beginning primary, since I saw the Republican Party trying to isolate true conservatives out here. And now that we have these supposed leading front-runner candidates out here, are they talking about anything that affects the American people? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. And you see, folks, that's why I continue to come up here hoping that there's some people out there in America that'll take whatever I say, whether you agree or disagree. Take what I say and relay that information. Form an opinion about it. And talk about it with your family, your friends, your colleagues, acquaintances. Because that's the only way we're going to change America from the inside out. We need to start talking about the economy out here. The economy is in dire straits, folks, and you notice nobody is talking about that. Nobody. Nobody's talking about the devalued American dollar. Nobody's talking about the fact that our American dollar is so devalued, you've got high-end retail stores in America that are no longer accepting American money. This is what I'm talking about, folks. Nobody's talking about these subject matters. Nobody's talking about the fact that America doesn't produce a damn thing anymore. I mean, how is a person going to go and get a job when there's nothing to produce? Nobody's producing a damn thing. The only thing we produce is cheeseburgers and entertainment. And if you decide that you wanted to get a job in the field of cheeseburger making or entertainment, well, you have to go compete with 20 million illegal immigrants that are in this country illegally, devaluing the cost of labor. And nobody's talking about these subject matters, folks, and I hope that you, as American folks, take it upon yourself to talk about it. Call your politicians, call these senators, call these congressmen, and tell them, hey, what are you going to do about it, sir? What are you going to do about it? Because I'm telling you, folks, the civil rights movement shows us that the government will crack if enough people start coming together in a common cause. And let me tell you something, one of the common causes right here should be the economy, folks. I don't give a damn if you're a Republican, Democrat, or whatever side of the aisle you reside in. I think we need to start talking about this damn economy out here. And I'm not talking about making blanketed statements like these ridiculous imbeciles that are running for president right now. I'm talking about real straight talk. I'm talking about, hey, look, we need a president that's going to organize business, that's going to organize the greatest minds in the country out here so we can bring back America into the forefront of economics worldwide out here. We need to start acknowledging the fact that these power-hungry autocrats that are supposed to have America's interest at hand are selling us out. They are selling us out, folks. And I don't understand why nobody's talking about it, folks. I mean, you know, here on the Blog Talk Radio Network, you have a bunch of egotistical bastards on here, with all due respect if you happen to be a host. But you have a whole bunch of them that are saying nothing. They're saying absolutely nothing, folks. And you don't have to be some brilliant, articulate intellectual to have some damn common sense. Okay? And common sense is that we are headed for hell in a handbasket. And I'm not just talking out my ass here anymore, folks. Okay? And I'm hoping that with the title of this program, The American Public Sucks, hopefully I light a fire under a few people's fat jelly asses to go out and participate in this government while they are still allowed to do so. I just don't understand why nobody else is talking about it. I don't understand why nobody else is as mad as I am. I just don't understand it. I mean, I love this country, folks. I love this country. I love America. I love the American Constitution. I carry around a copy of it everywhere I go. But it seems to me that people are so stupid in America. And you know, you got to credit the public education system, and everybody who's followed my show on a consistent basis knows how I feel about that bureaucratic piece of trash. But, you know, the public education system aside, you need to take the initiative to go out and learn about this bureaucracy that is your government. Because our forefathers gave us unalienable rights never given to man prior. And I just hope that enough people start understanding that our democracy or our constitutional republic is being jeopardized because of our own stupidity out here. I mean, it's stupidity. I mean, and it's at all fronts, folks. I mean, we are eroding ourselves from the inside out from all fronts. Economics, social landscape. I can go on and on. I mean, we are just being flushed down the proverbial toilet out here. And it seems to me that I'm the only one pissed off out here. I mean, I want to break something. And Roscoe Phil in the chat room said our forefathers will be turning over in their graves. Are you kidding me? They're probably puking up right now. I could just imagine Thomas Jefferson. I mean, I could just imagine this man. You know, George Washington. You know, I could just imagine these people looking down and saying, "Are you kidding me with these ignorant pieces of trash?" I mean, didn't these people read history? Didn't they read the Constitution that we left them? I mean, nobody's talking about these subject matters. Nobody's talking about the expansion of our government. And let me tell you, I'm a true old-school Republican. I know that it's unfashionable nowadays to be a old-school Republican, which is less government bureaucracy, less government in our faces, less taxes. You see, the Republican Party is completely opposite of that now. They're just like the left, folks. So I'm telling you right now, it doesn't matter who you vote for, you're going to get liberalism regardless. I mean, all these people want to put more government in our faces. The people don't want handouts. That's what I keep telling people that. And you have a lot of cynical people, and I'm a cynical person myself, that don't agree with me. They feel that everybody wants a handout. Well, the only reason people want handouts at this point, and I've alluded to this yesterday when I disrespected International Women's Day, which is an absolute joke, is the fact that we have a social landscape out here where we have people having 5 or 6 different children from 5 or 6 different partners. I mean, how are they going to make a living with that type of economic baggage? They're not going to, folks. That's what I'm talking about out here. They're not going to do it. So as a result, you have yourself a whole population of people that need and want entitlements. But for the most part, folks, average American person, I could be wrong because I know that single-parent families nowadays are now the majority, which is absolutely sickening to me. But, you got the average American person that doesn't want a handout from the government, folks. They just want an economic landscape comparable enough for them to go out and get a job so they could support themselves properly, so they could support their families properly. But you see, we have a government out here that's selling us out. They've sent the means of production outside of the United States into communist China, Mexico, and other third world nations out here. And we don't produce anything anymore, so what jobs do we have to choose from out here? Well, you want to get in the cheeseburger industry, or do you want to get in the entertainment industry? Nobody's talking about these things, man, and it's frustrating to me. It's frustrating, because I'm a business owner, folks. Okay, but I didn't just open up a business yesterday and all of a sudden it's gravy. I mean, I had to work for it, and that's what America used to be about. You could be born into this country with nothing, and with determination, motivation, and the will, you can make something of yourself. But, I mean, honestly, I want you to honestly look at the landscape of America right now and ask yourself a question. Do you really think that you can be born in this country right now and expect to make something out of yourself, given the economic landscape? Absolutely not, folks. And if you still think that we can do that, I'd like for you to give me a call right now and tell me how you expect to do that in this economic landscape. 646-652-4869 is the number to call, folks. I challenge you to give me a call. It's making me sick. I mean, I can't. I just don't understand it. And you know, folks, I mean, I get frustrated. I mean, you know, I hope everyone that listens to me, whether it's live or on the archive, I just want y'all to know that, I mean, I talk with passion because I mean what I say and I say what I mean, folks. And I'm not like everybody else out here. You notice that anytime you visit anybody in the blogosphere, on the Blog Talk Radio Network, or in any other medium via the Internet, they're always trying to get you to be on their side of the persuasion. You know, they're trying to dictate to you, hey, you need to think this way. I'm not telling you to think any way, folks. This is America. We have the freedom of thought out here. All I'm saying is, if you're going to have an opinion on something, you better damn well know about it. And you see, you have a whole bunch of American people out here that have strong opinions on things they know absolutely nothing about. And why don't they know anything about it? Because they're ignorant bastards. And I challenge you, go up to an average everyday American and say, hey, look, won't you read this book? I'll give you $10. They're going to look at you like you farted on their best suit. I guarantee it. Try to get an American to learn something nowadays. It's like asking them to, you know, light their own farts. It's ridiculous, folks. It's absolutely, utterly sick. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. I know that everybody's probably a little flabbergasted at the title of this show, The American Public Sucks. But, folks, I hope that some of those people that look at that say, wait a minute, I'm an American, I don't suck. Well, if you don't suck, go and help us out here. Help America. I don't give a damn what your political ideology is anymore. It should be beyond that at this point. I mean, really, it should be beyond, you know, political ideology at this point, because we're losing our country, folks. And if you don't think we are, you're an idiot. All right? You're an absolute buffoonery. You're playing with your pecker shaft, probably looking at pornography, when you should be utilizing the Internet to figure out this bureaucratic system of our government. I mean, it's sick, man. I just, you know, sometimes, you know, I had that courage and the passion and the fury just to continue going out here. But then, you know, like I say, folks, I take that big, long sigh. You know, I take that big, long sigh, and sometimes, you know, I just figure, well, you know what the hell? If this is what these people want, let them have it. Anyway, folks, we're going to go ahead and take a call here. 815, you're on the air.
Yeah. Hi, Ghost. This is Rich from Illinois.
How you doing?
I'm doing fine. I'm just concerned about you stroking out tonight.
Don't worry about me. I mean, let me tell you something. I'm filled with piss and fury, and there's nothing that's going to take me out here. I just have a lot of passion for America, and I know where our country is headed. And I just hope that enough people, you know, take their heads out of their colon pipes and understand that our country is going down the tubes, and it's right under our noses.
I think two things that would probably go a long way to changing things, which may never happen, but would probably assist this government in moving in the right direction, would be, one, to have term limits, to have the politicians in the Senate and in the House of Representatives serve no more than 2 terms, so they could not become entrenched, and so that their servitude to this government would be, namely, that, serving the government, then going home and having to face your constituency. And if they did a good job, get a pat on the back. If they didn't do a good job, get a kick in the ass.
Well, yeah, that sounds like a good idea.
So 2 terms in government would go a long way to make the politicians do the right thing rather than figuring out how they were going to establish their 30 and 40-year careers and their $2 and $3 million a year pensions, and then set up a job for themselves when they do retire, having done some favor for some company that gets a contract with the government. So I think that's one step.
Okay.
I have no great love for lawyers. We need them, unfortunately, but I think the magnitude that we see in public office, serving in the Senate, serving in the House, is very lopsided. We need to see more of a spectrum of individuals, farmers, factory workers, a spectrum of individuals. Unfortunately, those individuals will never get elected because the way the public parties are constructed, these people don't have the kind of money to even get recognized.
Well, not only do they have not the money, they're not going to have the corporate media covering their campaigns out here.
Exactly. So,
and I think it's disgusting, and this is why I urge people that are on the Internet, I mean, you literally have billions of libraries, news sources, and information at your fingertips, and what is the average Joe Schmo American using the Internet for? Search for pornography, or becoming a damn deviant. I mean, this is what I'm talking about out here. We need to research our candidates, and we need to understand that the bottom line is we, the people. This is our government, and the only way that we're going to be able to govern our government properly is if we understand the bureaucratic tentacles of it all, and understand that if we aren't actively participating in this government, we're going to see other outside influences via corporate America or other interests donating to whatever politician's campaign, get the influence of that politician as opposed to the American general public's interest.
Yeah, I agree. Unfortunately, the government is growing at such an ever-expanding rate that it's essentially buying its own votes. Pretty soon it will, control the workplace, and 80 or 90% of the people who do work will be government employees. And that's just like having a slave state, because they're going to vote for the people who are going to give them the best deal, pay them the best wage, give them the best pension, give them the best medical care, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. At some time, however, that Ponzi scheme or whatever you want to call it will run out of steam, and we'll have 5 or 10% of working Americans really working, paying taxes to support other people who are simply sitting on their ass and using the government as a means of living and surviving.
Absolutely.
So what John F. Kennedy said, ask not what your government can do for you, ask what you can do for your government, is true this day as it was back in the 60s. Unfortunately, we become a society who wants to be served. We want to be instantaneously satisfied with TV, radio, popcorn, drugs, whatever it is, a new car every year. We become hedonistic, and we have forgotten about the fact that freedom was bought at the cost of millions of lives, and we think that it's going to just continue that way for the next 100, 200, 300 years. Unfortunately, we've reached a time where Americans are dying precisely for our freedom, and we're having a hard time realizing that. and more Americans are killed on the road in 1 month than have been killed in Afghanistan and Iraq in the last 5 or 6 years. Not to say that's not a tragedy, but when you put that in the scheme of things, that number of people, I won't say it's a small price to pay for freedom. It's a big price, but it is probably a price that this country has to endure.
Yeah, and let me tell you something, and I'm glad that you brought a couple of these subject matters up. You're right about government expansion, and I've been trying to talk about that as well. And you look at the fact that we're not producing anything as an American culture anymore, or as American civilization. If you take a look back at the Great Depression, during the Great Depression, we were still producing things. We were producing cars, we were producing airplanes, we were producing all kinds of material goods. But in this day and age, the only reason we haven't hit a Great Depression is because of our ignorant mentality in believing that this dollar is somehow legitimate. But if you go out, and I remember a day when you can go out to anywhere in the world and pull out a Benjamin Franklin, pull out any of those dollar bills, and people are going to accept them. You're not going to get that anymore. As a matter of fact, you got high-end retail stores in New York City that are no longer accepting American money and exclusively accepting euro dollars. And you see, the fact of the matter is that you were talking about government institutions being the basic employer of the future of America. You're right. I mean, and this is why I've been an advocate to just completely disband anything government-related as it pertains to employing people. And the public education system should be first and foremost. Because why are people not knowing that they can participate in their government? Well, the public education system. I mean, the public education system teaches us everything but how to conduct ourselves when it comes to our government. And I think that that's an issue that needs to be addressed. I've attempted to address it. Unfortunately, what happens? You got a bunch of teachers and a bunch of bureaucrats that could give a rat's ass about your kid getting an education. I don't care what these people say. I'm sure there's some good teachers out there, and I'm sorry if you're one of them. But for the majority of the teachers and the administrators and the superintendents that are milking the government system for all it's worth, they could give a rat's ass about your kid. There's no oversight to make sure that this bureaucratic system of public education runs correctly. And in my opinion, I think we need to privatize the damn thing. We need to privatize as much as possible. Of course, we still need to have regulations and make sure that all children go to school. We need to make sure that everybody is well educated. But I think that if we start off at public education at this point, I'm not saying it's going to solve all the problems, believe me. But I think that it would be a start to not only help better educate a good portion of the American populace, but I think that it would help this economic, or I wouldn't say completely help, but it would make a dent in helping the economic crisis that we're in. I think that it'll spawn entrepreneurship. I think that good teachers will get paid good wages because it's going to be based on their performance. I mean, here in this public education system, these teachers start off, now that they got their pay raised a couple of years ago, average teacher makes about 50 G's a year, and depending on the school district you're in, you get $1,000 added to that each year for your tenure. And I think it's disgusting that, regardless if these teachers do good, whether they do bad, they can continue to be paid. Why America is not waking up to this, and I'm just using the public education system as a vending point. I'm speaking of all government bureaucracies, because I don't... Go ahead.
I think what you're saying applies to, I'm not going to say all industries, but certainly a lot of the manufacturing industries, such as cars, steel, whatnot. We've gotten ourselves into a position where we, and I'm not going to blame entirely union or management, but we've gotten to such a position where sometimes our demands are so great and we want instantaneous satisfaction, instantaneous wealth. We've got 2 years of high school and we want to make $80 an hour and $150,000 a year and be able to retire when we're 40 years old and have the government take care of us. we want to have the kind of things that our parents or grandparents or great-grandparents never dreamed of, and we want to have that instantaneously. And we're no longer the factory of the world. We're basically a service-oriented country.
I'm glad you said that, because I try to say that all the time. We have diddly out here. As a matter of fact, we're lab rats to the manufacturers of the world.
When the Air Force outsources the building of our tankers that are going to refuel our warplanes to France and give them that money, I find that treasonous.
Hey, you're damn right it's treasonous. But, of course, I mean, what did it get? Maybe a 5-minute blurb on, one of these 24-hour news media outlets at like 3 in the morning or something?
And the decision was made by some mid-level officer in the Air Force to go that way. And exactly, it got 2 or 3 minutes on the national news. And then today I didn't hear a thing about it, and I saw, I think, 2 paragraphs in the local newspaper.
And you see, this is what I'm talking about. I mean, what's unfortunate about our system, that it's so bureaucratic. I mean, it's so complicated. It doesn't inspire the person to go out and actually read about what's going on out here. They don't understand it. I mean, just look at the average high school graduate out here and ask them a little bit about our government. I'm not saying to ask them anything complex. Why don't you just ask them who the Secretary of State is or something of that nature? They won't tell you because they don't know. And the reason they don't know is because of our incompetent education system. And I think it's purposely done to dumb down generation after generation so that, go ahead.
My daughter is a first grade teacher. And even at that level, she told me a story, and maybe it's a lot to expect of a first grader, but they were talking about the Second World War. And she said, does any, and it happened to be around when we were celebrating Pearl Harbor Day and the anniversary of that date. And she just asked her classroom, does anybody know the importance of this date? What happened on this date? And the response of a couple of the children was, oh, that's when Japan attacked us for us dropping the atom bomb on them. This is the kind of
that's not
that these people are given, and sometimes they're given that information by their parents, or I don't know where it comes from TV, but the one thing that impresses me is the fact that instead of our citizenship becoming more intelligent, more and better readers, more self-reflective, we're launching into the world of make me happy.
I think we're headed down to dark ages here.
I don't want to think. I don't want to work. Just give me my Valium and my 2 beers and let me go to sleep.
Absolutely. I mean, we are headed towards a dark ages, and, I find it funny that we're in the information age, and yet we have a lack of information being brought up to the American public. And I just don't understand. And I always tell people that are out here looking at the boob tube for their information and news gathering that is completely intellectually lazy. I understand it's convenient. It's easy to sit on your couch and flip a few channels and think that you've got the world at your fingertips there, but it's not. And like I said previous, the system, this bureaucratic system of government of ours is so complicated. I mean, you can't even get people to go out and fill out their tax forms properly. I mean, you expect them to go out and participate in this government. I mean, this is what I'm talking about out here, man. I mean,
I think to a certain extent, with the advent of the computer age, life was supposedly supposed to become simpler and make life smoother and easier. I think that's a heresy. I think the computer is a great piece of instrumentation for gathering information, but it does not make life simpler. It makes life more of a challenge because you have to become a sifter. You have to go out there and sift the bullshit from reality and there's so many people who are feeding you bullshit, it's sometimes very difficult to know who's lying and who's not. And that's why you say it's a hard job, and unfortunately a lot of Americans are just too lazy to want to do that.
Oh, they don't want to do it, and that's what's unfortunate. That's why we have, outsourcing of American tanker planes, and we have the means of production being exported out of America into communist China and other third world nations. That's the reason why we have such a grotesque economy based on, manufacturing cheeseburgers and entertainment. I just don't understand why nobody else is as angry as I am. And I'm a business owner, for Christ's sake. It's not like I'm hurting out here.
It just might be that the powers to be, namely big international global businesses that tend to have more money and bigger pocketbooks and different agendas, might see the fact that a united world in the sense of one country, one bank, one monetary system, one system of laws that is pro-business might be what they want to do, because that way they have certainly control over the media, control over the banking system, control over the news, and you are fed what they want to feed you, and what you are fed is what they want you to know, and what you don't know can't raise any questions.
So are you of the
think it is the truth?
Are you of the persuasion that, and look, I have never been a conspiracy theorist.
I don't think it's a conspiracy. I think it's something that is evolving and happening, and is going along with the advances in technology.
I agree. I think that we are headed towards something that, at least on this side of the continent, I think that we are going to eventually, given the trading deals that we're signing with these countries, we're going to merge with Mexico and Canada. And I think that if you encompass that particular kind of shadowy, illusionary type of a North American Union concept, and you bring into consideration that we do have multinational corporations that were born here in America that I don't know if their loyalty is here with America anymore. As a matter of fact, it isn't. And I think that what we need to do as American people, that we need to understand that we need to gain back American sovereignty. I mean, that's why all these politicians aren't really concerned about our borders out here. I think that the reason you have such an influx of 20 million illegal immigrants that are being embraced by politicians, as a matter of fact, we're talking about giving them amnesty and whatnot, is because they're trying to dilute American sovereignty so that they can continue with these agendas of what we're seeing out here. I mean, like I said, I've never been a conspiracy theorist. But if you look at the nefarious activity that's being taking place right underneath our noses, all these trade deals, all these imbalanced exports of our means of production, the lack of fiscal responsibility of our government, the devaluing of the American dollar, the lack of employment in America, I think that we are headed towards something that is definitely global in nature and actually benefits multinational corporations at more of an authoritarian front, as opposed
and I think that will not only apply to economic interests, but social, cultural interests, religious interests. It'll cover the whole cultural gamut of the horizon in the world if we let it. Unfortunately, one of the reasons that has happened is, again, our political system of career politicians who are more concerned about re-election and their dollar in their pockets, and the fact that we have the word politician now instead of the word leader. It used to be this country was led by leaders, men who would set the path, not coax us into it through legal means, ease us into it through legislative agendas, make it the law. They were leaders who we would follow based on the fact they were strong, righteous, moral men.
Absolutely.
We don't see those types of people too often anymore. In fact, I can't remember the last one. The closest I think I got to an individual like that might have been Ronald Reagan.
Absolutely. And let me tell you, I mean, I'm very concerned about this country, based on everything that we've been discussing here in this brief conversation. But at the same time, it comes down to the American public's ignorance. Now, if it depends on what side of the coin you want to look at that. Now, do you want to show compassion to the American people and say it's not their fault, which is a liberal perspective, or do you want to give them all the flack in the world? Because, we live in a day and age where if you're on the Internet, there should be no reason for you to be so damn dumb, with all due respect to folks that are not that knowledgeable, if you will. I mean, and like you said, I'll give you the fact that you have to decipher BS from reality on certain parts of the Internet. But that's why you continue reading, you continue researching. You go out and you try to figure out the answers to problems.
But it used to be in society, and I'm not that old, I'm only 64. It used to be at some point in time, going back over the years, there used to be stigmas. Now, the word itself, stigma, isn't used anymore because it's judgmental. But there used to be stigmas attached to being dumb. There used to be stigmas attached to being non or uneducated. Sometimes that was the fault of the individual. Sometimes it wasn't. It was because of their circumstances. But now there's no stigmas attached to just about anything. If you're, a mentally ill person, you're a client. If you're an unwed mother, you're a client. You're no longer a patient or a person who is on welfare or somebody who is accepting free money from some organization. The semantics of the whole world has changed. You are the person receiving aid, and you are a client. My view of a client is someone who pays for a service. Most of these people have not, or have never maybe even filed an income tax return, much less paid into the structure of our government. And these people now are clients and are getting all sorts of services free of charge. Just to look at the way the semantics of the world has changed in terms of the use of words and how they relate to people and individuals is mind-boggling.
It really is mind-boggling, and it's a shame. And all I can do and all anybody else can do is try to provide discourse in such subject matters with substance, as opposed to going on ignorant emotion. Now, don't get me wrong, I do get emotional on this show and I start screaming my head off, but that's only based on the fact that there's nobody listening. Everybody's just out thinking that the world is great. I mean, you take a look at the presidential campaigns in the Democratic side. I mean, you would think that, that Jesus was going to come down or something. I mean, it's just ridiculous. There's so much optimism on the left, and I don't know where that's coming from. I mean, don't these people read? Don't these people understand that the American dollar's tanking? We have humongous debt that I don't know what in the blue hell how that's going to be paid off. We got politicians making blanketed statements about absolutely nothing. They're not explaining their platform on how they're going to get jobs in this country. I mean, all they continue saying is that, hey, we need more jobs. Well, how are you going to get them? And
I think it's like a voice screaming in the wilderness. The first thing is people have to be interested in events in their own small towns or villages or wherever they may live. It starts there, and hopefully it grows from there. And you have an educated electorate. Maybe that's the starting point. I hope that's the starting point, because the other starting point is we're talking about a major Holocaust in this country where somebody or some group of terrorists import a dozen or two or 3 dozen suitcase nuclear weapons, and several million people are incinerated, in which case I I could almost bet that the government would change in certain dramatic ways overnight. And I suspect if that were to happen, you would see, by way of necessity, the military invoking some of its militaristic privileges to control our borders, to control our commerce, to control the government to a certain extent under these circumstances. And that's what frightens me, if we see that case scenario, because in that case scenario, it would really be leading towards some type of a relatively dangerous internal revolution where you wouldn't know what the United States would wind up being as an end product.
I agree, sir. I absolutely agree. Do you happen to have a show on here? Because I'm going to take a few other calls. And
no, I'll let. I think I've held up enough time.
No, absolutely. I appreciated the insight. I mean, you know, this is why I come up on here, try to provide discourse on subject matters that relate to Americans, and sir, you provided substance, and I appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and hopefully more Americans will get involved. I'm just going to hang up, and I'll sit back and watch the chat room.
I thank you very much, sir, and you're welcome to call anytime.
Have a good night.
You have a good evening. And you see, folks, that's what I'm talking about. I mean, we need to start talking about issues that affect America, and you see, no one's going to talk about it because we have an uneducated American general public out here that basically wants to be catered to with blanketed statements. And what do I mean by, hey, well, what are you talking about issues, Ghost? What are you talking about? I'm talking about the damn economy, all right? That's what I'm talking about, that nobody is talking about. I mean, this is scary, folks. It should scare the bejesus out of you. I mean, take all the factors, all of them. Take all the factors into consideration, okay? And I know I've repeated them, but I mean, it seems to me that we live in an attention deficit disorder society that things need to be repeating on a consistent basis. Now, you got to think about the devaluing American dollar. This is something that really concerns me because I love American money, folks. But here within the next 5 to 6 months, this is coming from a businessman here. I actually believe that here, if we don't start rectifying this problem, that within 5 or 6 months, this damn American dollar isn't even going to be worth the paper it's printed on here. You're already seeing that recourse here in America. You have high-end retail stores in New York City that are no longer accepting American dollars. They're exclusively accepting euros. I mean, can you believe this? Can you actually believe this garbage? Okay, let's take the devaluing of the American dollar aside. Let's think about this tremendous debt that we have out here. And, you know, I don't understand. Okay, I wasn't against the war. I'm not against the war in Iraq. I'm not against the war in Afghanistan. But it's starting to take a big damn chunk out of my pocket and your pocket, the taxpayer's pocket. Now, how do we rectify this problem? Now, I am not talking about, let's just go ahead and cut and run like these pieces of trash on the left are talking about. That's not what I'm talking about. I think that we need to start demanding from these politicians, specifically the presidents or the supposed idiots running for president out here, we need to start talking about how we're going to recoup this debt. And I feel, in my personal view, that every American person should be pressuring these presidential candidates for them to vocally advocate forcing the Iraqi government to pay us back in full with interest. And how are they going to do that, folks? Well, I'll tell you how they're going to do that. I'll tell you how they're going to do it. They've got the second largest oil deposit in the world. And why these people aren't paying us back, I have no idea. But is the American public talking about that? Absolutely not. They're not talking about that. They're not demanding their politicians to talk about it. Because I'm telling you, folks, if we somehow were able to recoup all this debt that we have accumulated for this war, that would bring up the value of our dollar. Because without our dollar, folks, we're nothing. If our economy collapses, we are absolutely nothing, folks. I mean, we're no better than this than the quasi-socialist communist government we are transitioning into. I mean, just take a look at the expansion of government. Okay, let's talk about other economic issues, okay? You talk about the exportation of the means of production outside of the United States of America. Why are the means of production being exported? Because these power-hungry autocrats in Washington are signing imbalanced trade deals that aren't benefiting the American people. Okay? Now, what does that do? That disenfranchises a whole bunch of people that are out of work. And what do they have to do? Well, they have to get employed again. Well, we don't produce anything anymore, folks. We don't produce anything. And on top of which, these disenfranchised people that lost their jobs to outsourcing, they got to compete in an employment sector that is dominated with 20 million illegal immigrants that are devaluing the cost of labor. They're devaluing the cost of labor. And that's not BS, folks. You can go look that up right now. Take a look at the industries. Look at any industry you want that's still around in America. And take a look at how the pay scale has gotten less as time goes on. Completely contradicting typical economics. Okay? And nobody's talking about it. And you want to know why nobody's talking about it? Because everybody's damn ignorant out here. The American public is an ignorant piece of trash. The American public sucks. And I hope I light a fire under a few people's asses out here, because we need to get our heads out of it. We need to start worrying about America, America's interest, America's place in the international community. We need to start worrying about these things, folks. And if we don't, we're going to see the crippling of America. I love America, folks. Okay? I don't know about you, but I love America. I love the American Constitution. But we're seeing it withered away. Withered away. And if you think that any of these candidates that are running for president are going to help you, I got some oceanfront property in Kansas I'll sell you. All right? It's ridiculous. And, of course, somebody in the chat room was saying, hey, well, we're borrowing all this money from China. And, of course, we are. We're morons. Not only are we giving them our money via the manufacturing defective products that we buy from them all the time, but we're also getting them richer by having them own a piece of us via the American debt. And nobody's talking about it. You know what? No one else is talking about how China is generating all these large sums of capital via the United States consumer. And what are they doing with that money, folks? I'll tell you what they're doing with that money. They are buying nuclear warheads. They are buying airplanes. They are buying military equipment. And what are they doing with that military equipment? Well, they're pointing it right here in America. That's what they're doing. And is anybody talking about these? No, nobody's talking about it. I don't know about you folks, but I hate the Chinese government. I hate them. I hope they choke on their damn chopsticks. I want to shove an egg roll up their asses. I hate the Chinese government. I hate communism. Because I don't want to live in communism, folks. And that's exactly where we're headed. We're headed towards a transition, a single-handed transition from what we knew of as the American Constitutional Republic into something that is quasi-socialist and communist. And if you don't believe me, take a good look around you, take a look at the expansion of government, take a look at this ridiculous economic stimulus package that is a slippery slope down socialist path. The American people don't want the government giving them money, folks. I'm sure some of them do. I'm sure the women that are shitting out about 5 or 6 kids from 5 or 6 different fathers want all the free government cheese and all that garbage. But real American people that have integrity don't want the government supporting them. They want the government to govern, providing an economic landscape that is comparable enough for one to go out and support themselves with dignity, for Christ's sake. Support their families. I mean, the average American person really wants to work so they can have some net worth for themselves. I mean, how can you have any kind of personal integrity for yourself when you're having everything given to you? You don't. And I just don't understand it, folks. And this is why I challenge everyone out there, whoever listens to me, whether you're listening to me live or on the archive, please talk about these subject matters. I'm not asking you to agree with me, folks. Believe me. I mean, that is the last thing I'm asking you to do. I'm not like these dictators out here that are on the blogosphere, that are on Blog Talk Radio Network, that are saying, you better listen to me, and that's all there is to it. No, I'm not. I'm just asking you to think critically about certain subject matters. To understand that America is being flushed down the tubes because of our own damn ignorance out here. And I don't understand it. You know, I just don't understand it. I mean, everybody out here is walking around, everybody's walking around thinking that everything is dandy. Everything is not dandy, damn it. We are living in one of the most critical points in American history. Right now, okay, I don't know, there's a variety of different paths we could go. But the path that seems more likely because of the social landscape, the lack of intellectual curiosity in the general American public, the economic landscape here, we're headed down a slippery slope into something that I don't want to see. Like I said, folks, I've never been a conspiracy theorist. I hated conspiracy theorists. I've been a lifelong Republican. I'm a true, staunch conservative. But if you look at the nefarious activity that is being taken part by our government officials that we elected, you take a look at these imbalanced trade deals that are happening out here, okay? You take a look at the devalued dollar, the high deficit, the 20 million illegal immigrants that are devaluing the cost of labor, the lack of any type of border security. You take a look at all these factors, one can only come to one conclusion, folks. I think we're headed down the North American Union. And you can look it up for yourself. This was a think tank concept, folks. This was a think tank concept, and now it seems to me like the more and more I see these ridiculous trade deals and treaties that we have no business being in, I'm starting to think that we're going to be up just like the European Union. Go look it up for yourself, folks. Take a look at how the European Union arose. The same path. It all started off like a bunch of trade deals, a bunch of negotiated treaties, and before long, it ended up unifying Europe into some supposed European Union. I mean, how is that sovereignty? How is that sovereignty, folks? I mean, I just don't understand, man. I love America. I want to be an American. I don't want to be a North American Union citizen. I mean, I don't want that. I want to be an American. I want to continue to be able to carry around a copy of the American Constitution and know that my forefathers that gave man unalienable rights that weren't given to man prior to this document are going to continue to flourish. I just don't understand it, man. And I want to hear from you. If you think I'm off my rocker, please provide some substance on the debating table. Give me a call. 646-652-4869 is the number to call. But it seems to me like everybody has a Kentucky Fried Chicken grease thumb up their ass, and they don't care. They don't care. And I hate ignorant people, folks. I really do hate them. I mean, let me tell you something. And you want to know what an ignorant bastard is? You don't have to be some brilliant Rhodes Scholar, articulate intellectual to have some damn common sense. I mean, seriously, folks. All you need to have is common sense and the ability and the motivation to go out and seek knowledge. I mean, that separates you from the ignorant bastards out here. I mean, that's all there is to it. It has nothing to do with going out to some ridiculous college and indebting yourself about $60,000 before you even get into the workforce. That doesn't make you smart. That makes you damn stupid. And I don't understand it, folks. I love America. I don't know about you folks. I know there's a lot of patriots out there that love America, but I love America. It's just ridiculous. 646-652-4869. I want to hear your opinions on the subject matters. It's ridiculous, man. Damn, man. I mean, I want to break something, man. I mean, seriously. I don't understand why nobody else is talking about these subject matters here. I don't understand it. I mean, is there still patriotism still alive in America, for Christ's sake? I mean, you see, I'm breaking stuff now, folks. Because I'm angry, man. You should be angry, too. You should be angry, too, folks. And now I've got broken crap all over my room here. But it doesn't matter. Let me lay down. Let me lay down here and have a little bit of a shrink session with you guys here. Okay? Let me go ahead and just have a shrink session with you folks. Let me just lay down here on my couch. Take a couple of deep breaths and tell you folks, you know, I mean, I could be just like all these other American folks out here and just not give two rats' asses about what's happening. As long as I'm great, who gives a crap about everybody else? I mean, I own several businesses out here. It's not like I'm hurting. But that's not the point. The point is when I die, when I'm on my deathbed, I want to know that my children, my grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, and future generations are going to continue to reap the rewards of this great society that used to be great. America. I want them to still carry around the American Constitution and to be able to look back on it and understand that our forefathers were brilliant and understood that they gave us unalienable rights that were never given to man prior to this document. And if you don't believe me, go read history and see how people were oppressed by their governments, by their monarchies, by aristocrats. I mean, this is a revolutionary concept, folks, and we're seeing it come to an end here, and it's right before our very eyes because of the ignorance of American people. Anyway, folks, let me go back to the switchboard here. I'm kind of off my rocker, but who gives a crap? Anyway, 419, you're on the air.
Hey, Ghost, this is Heather.
How you doing, Heather?
I'm doing pretty good. Just letting you know that my account with Blog Talk Radio has been canceled, so I don't want you to be associated with me too long.
Your show, what? Your account's been canceled?
Yes, because yesterday I did a show about, I believe, I'm going to just put it out there, I don't care anymore if anyone likes it or not. I do believe that 9/11 was an inside job. I did a show for 30 minutes yesterday. It wasn't even a 2-hour show, it was just 30 minutes. Just talking about the things that I think went wrong on 9/11, and which makes it, to me, very suspicious. Until those things are resolved, it's still going to be very suspicious for me. But I got an email last night for someone telling me to give them a call so we can discuss the content of my show. I'm like, hell no, I'm not giving nobody a call.
What, somebody from Blog Talk Radio?
Yes. They told me to call them to discuss the content of my show last night. And I'm like, fuck no, I'm not calling anybody. And then I got an email just a few minutes ago saying my account was canceled.
Oh, I mean, wow. I mean, look, I don't agree that 9/11 was an inside job, but I still believe in freedom of speech out here.
Absolutely. It's very scary.
Wow.
And it's not even something that I make a focus of my show. I talk about everything, the election, everything, because this is like a pivotal moment to me. But my account was canceled. I'm like, fine. You know what? Like, I don't want to get you in too much trouble, and I don't want them to think that, but just so you know, my account was canceled.
That's just unbelievable. But you know what? I don't put it past Blog Talk Radio anymore. I mean, they've been trying to, I've had so much technical difficulties the past couple of weeks, and I think it's been purposely done or purposely implemented on my show because I don't talk about the status quo out here. I don't talk about the status quo. And all I want is some civil discourse out here. That's all I want. I mean, let's provide some civil discourse. I mean, that's all I'm telling. And I seem to have lost Heather for some reason. I don't know if she clicked off or what the case might be, but I just don't understand it. All right. Now, I don't believe that 9/11 was an inside job. I don't believe it. Okay. I'm not of that persuasion. But you know, I just, you know, hey, you know, what gives, you know? But I still think that we need to talk about subject matters that affect America, okay? And I believe if you look at the empirical evidence with the Civil Rights Movement and the Civil Rights Act, that goes to show you that if we provide enough discourse on subject matters, that the government will crack, folks. It'll crack. But what's unfortunate is that we have a lot of ignorant folks out here that just don't seem to want to care. You know? I just don't understand this. I just don't understand it, folks. And that's why I utilize this venue here to try to hopefully spark some synapses in the brain of folks out here. And I don't understand it, man. Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. We're sitting here talking about all kinds of subject matters. We're talking about, you know, the American economy. We're talking about the social landscape of America. We're talking about a whole bunch of different subject matters, and I'd like to hear from you folks, 646-652-4869. And this is not a conspiracy theorist show. I mean, I still love America, okay? I still love the American Constitution. But we need to talk about subject matters that are going to affect us as American people, folks, and that's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. I mean, I love America, man. I mean, I'm a true conservative out here. I mean, I remember when the Republican Party used to mean something. I mean, now it's no different than the left of the political persuasion out here. It's sad, man. It's just absolutely, utterly sickening to me. I don't know. I have no idea what's going on out here. Anyway, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. We're talking about a whole variety of different subject matters out here. I'd like to extend a thanks to everyone out there who's listening to my broadcast. I really appreciate your patronage, folks. You're the only reason why I continue to come up on the Blog Talk Radio Network. And at the same time, I find it rather amusing that folks on the Blog Talk Radio Network have been spreading slanderous lies, personal attacks at me, you know? I just think it's hilarious. Anyway, I want to hear from you folks. We've got a little less than 30 minutes left. I want to hear what you have to say, okay? 646-652-4869. Give me a call right now. I mean, what do you think about the economy? Do you think this is a great economy? Do you have optimism? I mean, do you think that these presidential candidates out here are serving your best interest? You know? Anyway, 646-652-4869. This is True Conservative Radio, folks. And I'd like for you to check us out on the archive as well at blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Check us out as well. But, man, sometimes when I get up on here, folks, and go on just a tirade, you know, sometimes I just got to, I'm just so emotionally drained out here, you know? I'm just drained, man. I mean, all I want is a decent discourse about subject matters that pertain to America. And sometimes when I get riled up and I start screaming, I mean, I got that vein in my head pumping, you know? It's sad, man. It really, really is sad. Huh. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869 is the number to call. And I want to hear from you, folks. I want to hear from you. I mean, I used to be optimistic about America. I'm not optimistic about America anymore, folks, and you shouldn't be either. Look at our economy. Look at the devaluing of the American dollar. All I'm trying to do is relay that information to you. And I don't want you to agree with me, man. I mean, on the contrary, I encourage you not to agree with me. All I'm asking you to do is provide some substance on the debating table and go out and discuss these subject matters with other people. I love America, folks. I love America. And Tony Clifton was saying that the reason that the Blog Talk Radio Network keeps having technical difficulties on my show is because they don't like me screaming. Well, you know what? If they don't like me screaming, I mean, what do they want me to do? I mean, what do they want me to be, some Pee Wee Herman jag-off or something? Some moron that's just, bumbling around his own tongue like Al Gore trying to explain how he invented the Internet? They want me to talk like this? Is that what they want to talk like a fruity-ass bastard? They want me to talk like I just popped out of the ass crack of Richard Simmons or something? Is that what they want? I'm not going to do that, folks. I love America too much to do that. I love the American Constitution. You know, I love the American Constitution. I love America. And that's what continues to bring me up on this chat room, folks. And I don't care what side of the political persuasion you're on. I don't care. I don't care. All I'm asking you to do is discuss these subject matters with true critical thought. Anyway, folks, 646-652-4869. We got about a little less than 25 minutes left, and I want to hear from you, folks. I want to hear from you. I especially want to hear people that disagree with me. I mean, if you're thinking I'm off my rocker out here, please, by all means, give me a damn call. Give me a call. I mean, I get all kinds of hateful emails. I mean, it's pretty sickening out here. But all I want to do is provide discourse to subject matters that are near and dear to America's heart, and I'm talking about the American economy. Okay, folks, like I said, I could care less about these collateral matters that these presidential candidates keep talking to us, little talking points and that sort of garbage. I don't want to hear this, I want to hear substance, man. You know, Barack Obama, and I hate to bring this up, Barack Obama, during the debates with Hillary Rotten Clinton, brought up and was critical about NAFTA, okay, and how NAFTA wasn't a good idea and that sort of thing. And then when he was asked what the hell he was going to do about it, he backtracked on it. And then to find out that his foreign policy advisor, or his economic advisor, is going out and supposedly making deals with the Canadian government. I mean, this just goes to show you the amount of double talk that we're hearing out here. I mean, this is double talk out of your derriere. That's what we're having. That is what we're having out here. Anyway, folks, like I said, I want to hear from you. Please, 646-652-4869. I mean, I'm getting a little emotionally drained out here. You know? I mean, every time I come up on here, try to facilitate debate about subject matters, it's rough on me, folks. It's just rough, man. And the only reason it's rough is because nobody is listening. You know, if you go around the Blog Talk Radio Network, and I encourage you to do so, and listen to some of these people that are on on this network, and listen to some of the rhetoric that they keep touting off of their head, you're going to see the amount of hypocrisy out here, and on both sides, folks. It's not just the Republicans, not just the Democrats. It's both sides. I mean, you got Republicans bowing down to John McCain. John McCain, folks, if you look at the man's legislation, he's a liberal. I mean, why do you think that true, staunch conservatives, old-school Republicans can't stand the stench of this piece of crap? You know? I mean, why? It's because the man is a liberal. I mean, take a look at his legislation. McCain-Feingold. The McCain-Feingold bill basically wipes, John McCain wipes his derriere with the Constitution, with the First Amendment, with McCain-Feingold. I mean, it was McCain-Feingold that got rid of one of the greatest conservatives ever to sit in the political arena out here, and that was Tom DeLay. I mean, Tom DeLay was all about the conservative movement. And what happened? McCain-Feingold, because of some bureaucratic red tape and all that other garbage, what happened? They kicked him out of office. And what happened to those bogus charges that were trumped up against him? They were dropped. And that's what I'm talking about, folks. That's exactly what I'm talking about. And I want to hear from you. I mean, am I off my rocker? I mean, seriously. I mean, I have a lot of people that call me up. They prank call me. They try to, spread slanderous lies about me and that sort of thing. And that's fine. I'm used to that. But the bottom line is, folks, is I want you to provide some substance on the debating table. 646-652-4869. I encourage you to disagree with me. All I'm asking you to do, though, if you're going to disagree with me, the least you could do is provide some substance to the discourse on this crap. You know? And look, I'm not about conspiracy theories, okay? I'm not about conspiracy theories, but if you look at the nefarious activity that our government has partaken in via trade deals, via deficits, and that sort of thing, I mean, it's looking rather glib. I hate to be using that Scientologist piece of crap, Tom Cruisin' for whatever his name is. I hate to be using his terminology, but it's looking pretty glib out here, folks. I don't know. Maybe I'm stupid. maybe I'm just old, folks. Maybe, I believe in the Constitution and America too much out here. Maybe, I should just deal with it. Maybe I should just say, you know what, Ghost, things are just going to happen. Let's just let the chips fall where they may, and that's all there is to it. Let's just go ahead. Go ahead, folks. Go ahead and sell us out, government. We elected you to office. Go ahead and sign imbalanced trade deals. Go ahead. Go ahead and devalue the American dollar. Go ahead. Go ahead and run deficits out the wazoo. Go ahead and keep borrowing from China, a government that I hate. I hate the Chinese government because they're communists, folks. Do you remember we were at war with communism for the longest time, and now we're doing business with the damn people? Don't you think there's something wrong with that picture there? I don't know. I mean, I do. I hope that the Chinese government chokes on their damn chopsticks, folks. I don't like the Chinese government. I mean, these are people that are exploiting and extorting labor out of their population via a warped political ideology, folks. And yet, we're not only giving them all of our manufacturing business, but at the same time, they own our debt, man. Don't you think there's something wrong with that picture, folks? Don't you think there's something wrong with that picture? I mean, honestly. This is true conservative radio, folks. I'm a true conservative. But I think that we need to put all of our biases on the back burner. We're at a pivotal time in history, and we need to come together, folks, in my view. In my view, we need to come together and we need to understand that the common bond that holds us all together is economics. And if we don't do something about this economic crisis, if we don't do something about the devaluing of the American dollar, the dissolution of American sovereignty, the means of production being exported out of America, 20 million illegal immigrants devaluing the cost of labor, if we don't do something about all these problems, this is where America's headed, folks. This is where America's headed. That right there is where America's headed, folks. If we don't start talking about these issues that affect us as American people. That's where America's headed. You know it and I know it. If we don't start talking about these issues that affect us as Americans, folks, we're going to implode, man. We're going to implode. Like I said, it's not based on conspiracies. It's just based on pure political observation, empirical evidence, historical facts. That's what it's on, man. I don't know. Maybe, like I said, folks, you know what, let me lay down. I got about 15 minutes left, a little over 15 minutes left. I'm gonna have a shrink session with you folks. the things that disturb me about this country, obviously it's our lack of American representation in our government system. And the reason that our politicians are no longer having our viewpoints, our ideas at the forefront of their agenda is because the American public doesn't care about its government. I mean, they think it's just going to run on its own. You got a social landscape that's becoming pretty warped out here, folks. It really is becoming pretty damn warped. And what I mean by that is that we're seeing the social ills become the social norms. And I'm not basing that on any type of religious principles or anything of that nature. I'm just saying that we need to start talking about subject matters that are affecting us as Americans, folks. And what I mean by that, I'm talking about how you have all kinds of social ills becoming the social norms. You got people out here changing divorces like they're changing dirty, crappy underwear. You've got people out here, individuals, having 7, 8 different children, 7, 8 different partners. I mean, I can just go on and on about this garbage. I just don't understand it, folks. I don't know. I'm through with it. I'm absolutely through with it. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. I'm about to puke. I'm about to throw up nasty chicken grease and corn oil and cream of wheat with 5-day-old cereal and stomach plasma. I'm through. I'm through with it because, it seems to me like nobody gives two rats' asses. Nobody cares. Everybody thinks it's just such a great time out here, and it's just sad. All right? It's just absolutely sad. It's just absolutely sad. Anyway, folks, I'm going to cut this show about 15 minutes early. I wanted to thank everybody, Tony Clifton, Roscoe, all the other people that have tuned in with me. I appreciate your patronage. They're the only reason why I come up on here. Please, by all means, bookmark www.blogtalkradio.com/ghost. Check us out in the archives if you don't have anything else to do. We always have a great time. We always have a great time on the Blog Talk Radio Network and on these broadcasts. So, by all means, folks, check us out in the archives. Like I said, our typical time frame is going to be Monday through Friday between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. Like I said, there may be a few times where I just don't show up for the show and show up for the broadcast. And that's basically because of outside forces not allowing me to go out and do so. But always keep up to date. Bookmark the page, and then you'll see whether or not we're going to have a show or whether we're not going to have a show, whatever the case might be. Also, I have a blog, too. I was going to use Blog Talk Radio Network as my blog, but once I put my first blog entry into the Blog Talk Radio Network's blogging system, it kind of encapsulates it in the same area as broadcast, which is kind of confusing to people, and I don't want to confuse people. So we're going to go ahead and continue the blogging at Conservative Ghost, all one word, no underscores, conservativeghost.blogspot.com. And of course, folks, I am on MySpace. So please, if you have a MySpace, hook me up. I want to be your friend. And that's myspace.com/ghostpolitics. All one word, no underscores, folks. And by all means, I encourage folks, if you know somebody that thinks entirely different than I do, or entirely the same as I do, or in the middle, whatever the case might be, email this show out to them. We have an email option there, and I'd like for you to email these shows out. Like I said yesterday during the Anti-International Women's Day episode, I told all those folks to find out who in the blue, or if they happen to know Gloria Steinem's email address, send this damn broadcast to her because I hate her. I can't stand her. In my opinion, her views have basically refashioned the woman's appetite into becoming a damn subliminal prostitute, folks. And I've already went off on a tirade yesterday about that. I encourage you to listen to that show. It was a great show. I got a lot of flack for it. You should see the amount of emails I got for it. It was just unreal. But anyway, folks, I'm going to go ahead and cut this about 10 minutes short. I'm just completely drained. I just don't know where our country's headed, where we're going, what we're doing. And I encourage all the folks out there that are listening in, please participate in your government, please. And how do you do that? Call your congressman, call your senator. It's not that difficult, folks. And make sure that they understand where you're coming from as an American person. And make sure to relay to them your problems that affect you as an American citizen. And until then, folks, I appreciate your patronage. Please check us out every Monday through Friday between the hours of 4 and 7 p.m. I don't know exactly. We don't have a set time yet, but we are definitely going to be on anytime between 4 and 7. And please add me to your friends. You go to blogtalkradio.com/ghost and add me as one of your favorites. You'll get an instant email once I put a show up. I usually am pretty spontaneous when it comes to putting out a show. I don't like to plan ahead of time and let everybody down. So if you need time frames on when I'm going to be on, by all means, add me as your friend on the Blog Talk Radio Network, and you'll get an instantaneous email as soon as I have another episode up and running. And please, folks, call in, participate with me live. All right, folks? Anyway, I thank you once again for tuning in with me, folks. Be sure to add me as a friend on myspace.com/ghostpolitics, all one word, no underscores. And once again, check us out in the archive at blogtalkradio.com/ghost. And until then, folks, thank you for tuning in with me. Long live the conservative movement and death to feminism. Thank you very much.
Boar's Head is bringing a slice of Japan to the deli. Introducing Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. Tender, slow-roasted chicken breast, coated in our signature teriyaki glaze, where ginger, garlic, and a hint of brown sugar meet for a flavor that's both sweet and savory. New Boar's Head Ichiban Teriyaki-style chicken. The bold flavor of Japan. Now at the deli. Only from Boar's Head. Compromise elsewhere.